We have brighter skies out there right now, but it's still cloudy and 35. On our way to a high in the low 40s today, mostly sunny on this Wednesday, but it's going to feel a bit colder than that. And then tomorrow, slim chance of afternoon rain, mostly sunny and mid-40s. It's 8:52.
Who was buying homes before interest rates really spiked?
Marketplace Morning Report is supported by Wall Street Journal's The Future of Everything, a weekly podcast that covers the breakthroughs that could transform lives. New episodes available every Friday. And by Twilio Segment. Segment brings customer data together for real-time insights so companies know each individual like they are their only customer. Learn more at segment.com.
I'm David Brancaccio in New York. 30-year mortgages are running above 7% today, down from 8% in October, but not the 3s and 4s that we used to see. The National Association of Realtors has a new report showing that from the decade that ended in 2022, home ownership swelled, and the realtors break this down by race.
Between 2012 and 2022, the National Association of Realtors says homeownership increased by nearly 11 million people. Homeownership rates rose to record highs among Latino and Asian American populations. While more African Americans bought homes as well, the rate of homeownership within that population still lagged at 44%, rising just 1.5 points over a decade. But despite the gains experienced by minority groups, the vast majority of the new homeowners over the 10 years measured in the report were white. The National Association of Realtors says that points to pervasive barriers facing minority groups, including disproportionately high student loan debt burdens. Minority homebuyers are also more likely to be first-time homebuyers, without the benefit of equity built up from a previous home to help put down a bigger down payment for the next one. These challenges preceded the rapid rise in mortgage interest rates over the last 2 years, which has made homeownership less affordable. I'm Nova Safo for Marketplace.
The Dow Jones Industrial Average is not a law of physics. It's people choosing 30 stocks they feel represent the economy. And there's news a little company called Amazon will replace Walgreens on that list of 30. This compensates for Walmart splitting its stock, which had the effect of reducing the weight of retailing in the Dow. Now, Amazon is also media and cloud computing, etc. Amazon goes into the Dow on Monday. Amazon stock went up 1.2% in pre-market trading here, but overall, Dow futures are down 0.2%. NASDAQ futures are down 0.6%.
Marketplace Morning Report is supported by Progressive. Progressive Commercial Insurance protects small businesses from retailers to tradespeople. Progressive covers a variety of business needs with a range of coverages. More at progressivecommercial.com. And by C3 Generative AI. Verified traceable answers, secure, hallucination-free, LLM-agnostic, IP liability-free. Learn more at c3.ai. And by Charles Schwab. Schwab believes every investor deserves to work with a firm they can count on, with financial consultants ready to serve clients and 24/7 live help.
We watch one documentary film a month that touches on marketplace themes for what we call Econ Extra Credit. This month, it's the doc called Invisible Beauty, film as autobiography, chronicling the life and influence of model and entrepreneur Beth Ann Hardison and her push over decades to diversify the fashion industry. Today, we consult fashion historian Shelby Ivy Christie. Thank you for joining us.
I'm so excited to be here and talk about this topic.
Things come into fashion, they go out of fashion. Alas, a commitment to diversity seems to be one of those things. From your perspective, it gets embraced for a season or two, then goes away?
Yeah, definitely. I think when we look at the state of diversity in fashion, it appears to be very fad focused. You know, we saw all of the black squares go up in solidarity in 2020. And then here we are, and many DEI roles are being eliminated from organizations. We're seeing runways go back to very thin body types. We're going back to the very white, thin, blonde hair, blue-eyed archetype in fashion. And even beyond the runway into these boardrooms, into these organizations, we're still not seeing diversity.
We've been inviting our audience members to watch Invisible Beauty about, of course, Beth Ann Hardison. There are accounts in this movie of people accepting as an article of faith that if you put black models on the cover of a magazine, it's not going to sell, which of course has been disproven over and over.
Yeah, it's jarring to hear 40, 50, 60 years later that these are still some of the challenges that we're having. Even that comment implies that whiteness is the standard and everything else is the other. And so that attitude in the industry, I think, is still very much so prevalent. Usher was just on the cover of Vogue, and there was a woman next to him, a white woman, and similar with LeBron James's cover. Even sometimes where there is a black person there has to be a white person present to counter it, even if they have absolutely nothing to add to the context, add to the editorial. These are things that are still happening.
Yeah, it's the January 17th Vogue. Here it is. We have these charming young kids in full football getup. There's Usher, who's holding one of the young football players on his shoulder, and there's a big football. And then kind of from who knows where is a white model dressed all fancy, and you're not quite sure exactly why she's there.
Not to take anything away from the model, she's gorgeous and talented, but in the context of trying to celebrate Usher, his upcoming Super Bowl performance, he is a legend and an icon in his own right. He's been, a talent for 30 years, pumping out excellent work. Why is this person in this image? Why, when it is black talent or talent of color, there has to be a white proxy there to seemingly give credibility or make it more palatable, or whatever the conversation might have been behind the scenes about the sellability, profitability.
I get from your answer that what you may not be able to prove but suspect is that someone in the fashion industry, someone making choices at Vogue, may have thought, well, you got to shoehorn a white person in there.
Yeah, and it goes a level deeper than that. Not only is it just the Vogue editorial staff, you're also answering to the sales team and the publisher about what brands are in that picture, right? What do they have on? It might be ad related. It might be brand related. What ads are in that book? And then you also might be to the service of those brands, right? And if they're spending a lot of advertising dollars somewhere, they want to have say. I don't know if that's the case in this image, but it is important about who is at those tables too, right? Who is in those rooms and those decision makers on the brand side as well.
Shelby Ivy Christie, fashion and costume historian. Thank you very much. Our documentary this month is called Invisible Beauty on Hulu or rentable from other streamers. I'll talk with the subject of that film, Beth Ann Hardison herself, later this week here. What can we learn about economics, money, markets, business from movies? There's our weekly newsletter for that. Go to Marketplace Econ Extra Credit for more information and a free sign-up button. In New York, I'm David Brancaccio with the Marketplace Morning Report. We are from APM, American Public Media.